Hello, everybody. Welcome to Unscripted Violence Pro Wrestling Talk. We are very excited for Thanksgiving to have the very talented and pretty much a legend in indie pro wrestling, Veronica Caine. How are you,
Hi.
Veronica?
Hi. I'm happy to be here. I don't know about legend, but I'll take it. I'll
Well,
take it. Why not?
I consider you a legend since you were in like one of the in XPW, which is a very famous and, well, to some people, infamous promotion.
Infamous is a good word for it, probably.
Yeah. Um, and for those of you that don't know what XPW is, there's actually an interesting documentary on it on the Dark Side of the Ring, I believe,
Yeah. Yeah.
which has a lot of information and background on that promotion. Um,
Yeah.
let's start. I want to start there, but I would like to know how you first got into pro wrestling. Were you a fan first, or how did everything come about for you?
So I was not really a fan. I just hadn't watched much pro wrestling in my life other than I can definitely say as a kid I caught Glow, and it definitely piques my interest, because I was like, wait, this looks like that stuff that I see sometimes on TV that doesn't really interest me, but it's girls and
Right,
like they're doing like all this really cool crazy stuff. I mean, at the time I probably didn't realize how kind of corny some of it was,
right,
um but it was cool, and I love the characters and different gimmicks that the girls had, and the Flash and everything like that. But I didn't really get big into wrestling. I kind of knew who some of the people were, um and I had actually been hit up a couple of times. I did sort of like fetish wrestling, in my like early 20s.
okay,
Just stumbled across a guy that was hiring girls from the local clubs to do, so like I learned a few moves and worked with a couple girls, but still really wasn't tuned in as far as like on television and stuff like that. So my real first introduction to wrestling, um, well, outside of a no ring show that I caught, was it a rockabilly show? I was big into music and
yeah,
going to see bands and stuff. I was at a rockabilly show, and this guy, Johnny Legend, was playing. Who Johnny's kind of big in like the cult, like sort of movie scene, and music and wrestling, and they were putting on this crazy, incredibly strange wrestling, which had like a mummy, and it just had like these bizarre characters coming out like in between bands and having a match like out in the middle of the floor where the fans were, and I that was pretty wild. But my first live, I would say, with a ring wrestling event was actually XPW. And I had been again hired, kind of as like eye candy to draw people. I guess we thought we were going to draw in walk-ins by standing out on the street with signs, to advertise. And I stayed and I watched the show, and of course, like just instantly was fell in love. Just it was like it was so cool. Again, also I saw some of the girls, some of the ballets, coming out there, Lizzie Borden and
yes.
Missy Hyatt, and I was like, oh well, that looks really cool. I could do that. I just right off the bat, I was like, this is neat. I could do this. And I ended up kind of hanging around and talking to some people. And then I later on got involved. But I had a boyfriend that was one of the main wrestlers over at XPW, White Trash Johnny Webb.
Yes.
Yeah, so he and I got together, and then about a year later, I started working with Extreme Associates on the adult film side, and then hand in hand with that came being one of the women that worked for XPW. So,
Nice.
yeah.
Who was your favorite people to work with? I know you were a manager of a heel faction.
Yeah, yeah. So I worked with the rock superstar Joey Chaos, Joey Munoz, who now runs wrestling school and promotion Santino Brothers out in Southern California. Shout
Nice.
out Santino Brothers. And Joey was a young guy at the time, great wrestler. These guys had like some pretty legit wrestling skills.
Yes. Yeah, there
And
was extremely talented people in that
yes, yeah,
promotion.
for sure. And part of that faction was GQ Money. He was the mouthpiece. He had all the like catchphrases and stuff. And then together we just really fit. We had also wrestler Steve Rosano from the Bay Area, who was a good wrestler as well. He wasn't there the entire time, but there was a couple of members of the Enterprise that kind of came and went, but the three people that sort of remained solid was Joey, myself, and GQ Money. And then one of my favorite people from XPW was of course Supreme,
Yes.
who was actually Chaos's uncle. And
I
we
was
had
wondering if they were related.
yeah, we had a really great storyline too. I mean that a pretty long storyline where Joey really screwed his uncle Supreme over, and we really screwed him over in the ring. And it's kind of what cemented us as true heels because everybody loved Supreme. May he rest in peace. And
Yeah.
and we did him dirty. We did him really dirty.
So that's really exciting. That promotion unfortunately didn't last very long. Or I really didn't follow it too heavily back then, but from what I understand, it went away and then came back for a brief amount of time.
So through the years, there's been a sort of a comeback or two, like an anniversary show, and
Okay.
I don't think it was all always necessarily run by Rob Black, who was the original owner of the company.
Yes.
But I think what they called the rebirth, which came back in maybe 2022,
Yeah, around there is
late
what I
21,
think.
early 22, something like that. And they had a good little run back and forth, several shows out in SoCal and Pomona, which was where I kind of caught wind that they were coming back around. And I was like, well, if XPW is running a show, this was shortly after COVID and all that,
Yeah.
if they're running a show in California, I gotta go check it out. And then I ended up connecting with them, and several of us veterans from the original promotion did go back, and we made a big appearance at their first show in SoCal. And then I went back several more times, and they also started running in New Jersey, in Newark. New
Okay.
Jersey, ran several shows out there. So I was involved a few times out in Southern California. And then after that, I kind of just became sort of the nurse. Well, I became the nurse there, and that was all I was doing in New Jersey. Like, so at the Jersey shows, I would just bring my medical bag and set up shop. And when the wrestlers would come back, I saw that there was a big need for that. And being that I am actually a registered nurse now, I was like, I got to do something here. Seeing all these lacerations and everything. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's where the hardcore healer was created.
Okay. I was
It-
going to ask about that, what the
yeah,
hardcore healer meant. I
yeah,
I kind of had an inkling, but that
yeah.
clears it up immensely. So, you were also in Revolution Pro for a time.
For a time in Southern California. So just after XPW, pretty much when I kind of left the promotion, is when I started going to school
Hmm.
down in the valley, and I did pick up a little bit of wrestling work here and there. I mean, mostly valet, but for Rev Pro started a sort of more hardcore version spinoff called Rev X, Revolution X.
Okay.
And I actually became the commissioner for Rev X for a brief period of time. Down there. That was pretty fun. That was a great group. And then a lot of those guys also went on to work in other promotions over time. PWG, Pro Wrestling Gorilla,
Yes.
and Ring of Honor. Or my dog just you
That's
might
all
hear my
right.
dog tip tapping back and forth here.
Oh yeah, they might see my cat Mischief hop up here every once in a while too. So we like animals at Unscripted Violence.
Yeah, I did. I had a few little things that I did within the indie wrestling community in LA. After I left XPW, my main focus at that point was getting my education, but
Hmm.
I did another thing with the Santino brothers, with Joey Chaos and Mongol Santino, back at the Grand Olympic Auditorium, which is where we did a lot of XPW shows, which is,
Nice.
as you may know, it's a iconic wrestling venue
Most definitely.
in LA. Yeah. So, and then I disappeared from the whole wrestling scene for quite a long time until I, kind of made my resurgence just a few years ago.
And what made you what led to that? Because you're very active right now. You've got a lot of exciting things going on.
Yeah.
I love what you're doing for women in wrestling, and especially the deathmatch style wrestling, which uh,
Yeah.
which I've participated in and am a huge just fan of.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Once the deathmatch bug bites you, I don't think, you ever,
no turning back.
there's no turning back at that point. Um, yeah, it just was something that, I always had fond memories of. I gotta pull this back because she's gonna knock it over.
That's fun.
And yeah, seeing that original XPW show kind of, the bug bit me again.
Hmm.
And then once I started going down to Pomona, I really enjoyed, every other month they were down there. So I was living in the hills, in the Sierra foothills in the mountains. And so every other month I would go down there and make the trip. And, it was fun working with people like Jasmine St. Clair, coming up with ideas and things to do, and meeting, all the whole new crew of wrestlers and everybody. Um, and it just felt right. It just felt like something I wanted to do again. I feel like maybe that was missing from my life for a long time.
Yeah.
I was working, I was a hardworking nurse, and just that sort of the creative aspect, and being a part of a production like that was something I always enjoyed anyway. I did some acting when I was younger, so it just all sort of fell into place. And then I found myself in Philly,
Hmm.
which is where I am now. I've been here for almost 3 years,
Okay.
and
Big wrestling country.
big wrestling country. Yeah, so I ended up here, and I found X Brand Wrestling, and started to get to know them a little bit, um, And, coming off like working with XPW and being the nurse backstage there, it just seemed natural for me to reach out to, other companies, or if they reached out to me. So I've been in the locker room, as the nurse with different promotions. Been kind of on standby in case anybody needed me with other promotions. So I've worked with, MLW. I've worked with CZW. I've done
Yes.
two of the last three TOD, the Tournament of Death.
Which
I've been
is
I have been the sole. I mean, they have an ambulance there for the big stuff,
right.
but I've been like the only person there providing any kind of just general medical help and cleanup. And
Which is
um,
super important for those that don't know, especially in deathmatch wrestling. Having uh, medics on site
yeah,
makes a big difference, and
yeah,
that's an important role.
yeah. Oh, for sure. So, I plan to continue doing that. I'm going to try and get somebody to go with me next year to TOD, because it'd be nice to have extra hands and, someone I can work with. Um, and so that kind of became part of who I was in the deathmatch community out here rather quickly. I found myself wanting to get to know more of the people in the promotions. H2O, which is no
Yes,
longer around out here. But it was so accessible to me to be able to go to H2O shows and sort of, kind of get to know the fan base here, get to know the deathmatch wrestlers and the indie wrestlers in the area and the promotions, and it's been great. Lately, there's been a promotion called Battleground that's been running shows at the 2300 arena, which is, a big upgraded version of the original ECW
yes.
arena, where I had the great
It,
fortune
it
to have performed a few times in the past.
that's the same address. It's just remodeled and
Correct.
everything.
It's
Okay.
it's very remodeled. It's a nice venue. It really is a nice venue now. It's not the old bingo hall that it
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
back in the day. Um,
Because I've
but
seen it and I wondered, I'm like, is this just the same ownership or was it the same exact address?
yeah, it's the same address. I
Okay.
don't know who the owners are or anything like that, but I just love that it's right here in Philly, and they've
Yeah.
been putting on some great hardcore matches. They can't really do like glass and stuff there, but they've gotten by with, seen some blood there, more and more it seems like each show. So I think Timothy Embler, who's running it, he must definitely enjoy deathmatch, because he uses a lot of the deathmatch workers, Masada, Schlack, Drake Younger, some of the, more up and comers like Phil Insane, um, Beast Man. So
Yes.
yeah, it's kind of nice to be able to just, you know, hop in an Uber and go see Deathmatch down the street and not have to trek for it, because, as you know, like, you can't get it everywhere because, people have an issue with it, government
Yeah.
entities and things like that. So, and venues don't always love, shards of glass everywhere.
I know. I'm in Salt Lake City, Utah, which is kind of difficult out here.
Yeah.
But we are having some deathmatch wrestling come out here for once. Dr. Redacted is going to do a show.
Oh, it's
So,
fantastic.
so they're working around it, which makes me really excited. But yeah, it's certain states, they have nothing to do with it. We get a bad rap. Um, to
Yeah.
me, how I explain it to people is it's nothing more than performance art.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean,
For those people that frown on it and everything, call it garbage wrestling and everything like that. Those of us who have the passion for it and know it's an art. There is a safe way of doing this. Um, it takes a lot more talent than people think.
right.
Um,
Right.
now, so you've obviously done more valet work, management, behind the scenes. You've also been in the ring.
I have.
Um, which it's kind of obvious, but which do you prefer? Do you prefer the managerial role, the creative, or do you prefer being in the ring yourself?
That, I mean, that's kind of hard to say. I think I would say that, um especially right now, I really like being part of the team, part of the like creative and, production. And I mean, I just am there for X Brand basically to utilize me as they will. I'm the general manager currently, at X Brand Wrestling, which has allowed me to dabble in booking, dabble in creative and storylines. I open every show, so I kind of go out and, you know just greet the crowd and, you know uh, get the vibe a little bit, get the vibe up, and then and announce. Uh, Creepy Pinky, our announcer, who is definitely more of a hype girl than I am, but um I definitely think I would miss not being in the ring in some way. When I
Right.
was just doing the nursing, I did kind of always have my eye on like, I'd like to be, back, as part of the show as well. Especially because I felt like it was something I had to offer. I felt like I could be an asset, as a personality or, a manager or something. But um, I'm more, I would say, comfortable working in many roles with one company,
Mm-hmm.
than working, like, say, just traveling like as a manager with one wrestler, and touring and valeting, like, at multiple promotions all over the country or the world. Well, I think that's probably pretty exciting. I'm really enjoying like building and helping to be a part of cultivating something special, which I believe that X Brand is.
I've
Um,
been watching some X Brand because I it's a promotion I've known about but haven't really. Uh, there's just so much wrestling I watch that I miss companies here and there, but I really like X Brand's ability to take risks and do a story and tell stories, which you have a story going on right now that's pretty interesting.
we've got a couple.
You
Are
went
you?
missing for a little bit, or
Yeah. I mean, that was pretty exciting. Kind of, unfortunately, prevented me from being able to be a part of the show in Texas, the collaboration with Loco Wrestling down in Texas.
okay,
But luckily, I won't be stopped. I'm not going anywhere, and I've got an idea on who messed me up there, and they're gonna pay. And I will definitely be making it out to Loco again. Well, I mean, I guess for another trip, in 2026, perhaps a couple of trips. But
nice. I'm sure
yeah,
people are happy to hear that.
yeah, I really was excited when I saw the announcement for their junkyard show in March. I love watching the Zona stuff, the Zona 23 stuff down in Mexico. I don't know if you see any of that, but it's gnarly. And this, has that written all over it. So, yeah, you might peep me in the junkyard, and you might even see me there later on in the year. So, um,
Nice.
definitely going to make it down to Texas.
It sounds exciting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, tell everybody. I want everybody to know about what you're doing with your brand. She's Hardcore, and
Okay.
you have a title there. Uh,
Yes.
Angel
Yeah.
Metro's your current champion. She's
Yes.
absolutely amazing.
She
I,
is.
I just
She's.
caught her in IWC with the match against Danny DeMonto,
Oh, yeah.
where
Yeah.
she just killed it.
Yeah.
I
She
mean,
is, I mean, she's on fire right now. But I'll start with She's Hardcore. Um, that it's something that people would say to me through the years, just based on something I would say or something I would do. They'd be like, "Oh, you're hardcore," and
mhm.
it's sort of tongue in cheek. Also refers to my past in the adult film business, so it kind of touches on different aspects of my life. But also, it's a throwback to extreme wrestling. You hear a chant, when somebody does something crazy in the ring, it's, he's hardcore.
Mhm.
When Francine back in ECW would do, she took a lot of crazy stuff.
Oh yeah.
She would get, a She's Hardcore chant. And for some reason, when I was thinking on, how would I like to leave my mark and how would I like to be involved going forward. Was that your cat?
Yeah, that was Mischief. He's
Mischief.
he's our
Um,
mascot.
so yeah, when I was kind of trying to come up with, what's my next move in wrestling, I know I want to be involved and I know I have something to offer, but not just one thing. I'm uh, enterprising, as my first group in wrestling was. So She's Hardcore Enterprises was born, and it kind of encompasses all that I do. So the management aspect, um, empowering women in hardcore and death match, particularly.
That's exactly what
So
I love about it.
the medical, I mean, outside of just me being there to help patch up wrestlers, I also do a little bit of outreach with that, and that, like, I formed like a Facebook group and reached out to people who do medic work, um, specifically with deathmatch. It's a Facebook group called Follow the Bleeders. I started a basically a women's fan group for deathmatch. It's kind of the little sister of the biggest deathmatch fan group, Deathmatch Elite.
Yes,
We are Deathmatch She-Elite.
I like
And,
that.
it's just something that I just want to, give love and draw, more attention, and hopefully more success to the wrestlers, the promotions. And, I would say I'm female forward for sure. Like, if I see something that excites me about, what a girl is doing, whether even if it's not wrestling, I kind of want to take She's Hardcore even in a more broad sense. Skateboarding and roller skating and doing strong women and women who front metal bands and things like that,
Yeah.
like that might be a little more like male dominated areas where women are just killing it. um and the title was something I just thought, I've always, if you ever see me in some of the promos and skits and things that we do, I have an affection for belts. I do not like a nice you know accessory. So I was like, I think that She's Hardcore Enterprises should sponsor a belt that is meant to shine a spotlight and showcase the talents of women, especially, like I said, in more of the hardcore and deathmatch area of wrestling. And I wanted it to originally, like, the idea is to have a tournament,
Okay.
but that's going to take a while to kind of put together. So I wanted to build a little bit of hype around the title. And at Wicked 13, which was X Brand's inaugural, their very first deathmatch tournament that we had in June, I watched Angel Metro's performance there, and I had already had my eye on her, and she just really exemplifies everything that I imagine when I think, she's hardcore. She's dedicated.
Mm-hmm.
She has worked on herself, her strength, her look, her physique, her overall aura and attitude. But mainly, I mean, the two things that really stand out are her dedication. Her whole heart is in this, and
It
that's huge.
shows. It
Yeah,
shows in her performance.
yeah. I'm a passionate person, a passionate woman, and so, like, seeing that in a younger woman, and somebody that's out there, like, and I see that her eye is on the prize and she's determined. That, and just that she, clearly loves it. So it's the hard work that goes into it, but, like, obviously you have to have the heart, and she's, like, obviously gorgeous, yet, like, very humble, and she's smart. She's using her head and she's doing things the right way. And at Wicked 13, I had brought the She's Hardcore belt, and after her match with Bobby Beverly, which she got knocked out in the second round, I did go out and present her with that belt as the custodian of that belt, as somebody who I felt exemplified, what it is that I see and what it is, I would like to see more of in indie wrestling. And she will now carry that and defend it. And we are still working on putting together a women's tournament,
Which I
whereby somebody, will rise to the top of that and compete with her, to be the She's Hardcore champion. So
That's an absolutely brilliant idea, and
yeah,
I think it's desperately needed, um, for for those people that watch me and listen and don't know very much outside of what's on TV and everything, and
sure.
how I mean I'm really AEW is a great company right now for hardcore women.
Oh yeah. Well,
Um,
I'm a huge timeless Tony Storm mark.
yes,
So
yeah, she,
yeah, she encompasses all of it. She's amazing. But yes, they are. I mean,
and I don't know if you caught the blood and guts
I
match,
did.
which was
I
phenomenal. I mean that's a first for TV and for women, and
Yeah.
they just knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, it's thrilling. Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm trying to tell people to watch you and watch this and what you're doing. It's 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 constantly evolving, and it's reaching a point right now to where I think that we're breaking through to a
I
new
think so
level
too.
of entertainment, and you're you're one of the people right now on the forefront of that revolution, if you want to call it, for lack of a better word. And
I
I just
mean,
think it's tremendous work what you're doing.
thank you. Thank you. I mean, coming from the roots that I came from, where I was with an extreme company, and there wasn't very many women. I mean, truthfully, there wasn't a ton of women that were even professional wrestlers at that time.
Mm-hmm.
There were some that were up and coming and, exciting to watch and fun. It was coming out of the Attitude Era, Trish Stratus and Lita and people like that. But there was a lot of more like valets and managers, like people like Francine and Jasmine St. Clair and Lizzie Borden, and that were out there, getting in the ring and kind of almost taking the place or taking on the role of a wrestler, even though we weren't really wrestlers. We had, some training, and we'd go out there and do what we could. And so to see then 25 years later, what women are doing in wrestling, and then put that with the more hardcore style. Yeah, definitely. I was one of the foremothers of that. And,
Yes, definitely.
I love like making this drive towards, building it even more. I have I'm working again with X Brand, and next weekend, actually, probably like the top of the women in deathmatch wrestling in the U.S., Mickey Knuckles,
Yes.
will be doing a concept that I came up with, called Scar Tours in the Flesh. And it's basically Mickey giving us a guided tour of, some of the scars that she's earned, while she's been in this business. And she's got some of the, craziest ones. She just got a huge one on her forehead. She had a tube,
Yes.
a drain sticking out of it and everything. So
She puts it all out there, and
yes.
I've had the pleasure of speaking with her. She's an amazing woman.
Yes. Yes. And she's a wonderful storyteller too. If you get
Yeah.
a chance to just sit with her and talk, she's like Necro Butcher, like that. Like you could just sit and talk for hours and just listen, you can just listen.
Mm-hmm.
But so I thought, rather than try to do an interview, I'm just going to let Mickey tell her stories. And as you know, she put out a book recently, The Most Dangerous Woman in Wrestling.
Yes.
So this weekend I'm going to go through and try to find some excerpts and have her pull some things that she wants to talk about too. So we're going to create something with this, a lot outside of the live event, where she will, do a little bit of this storytelling with these scars,
Right.
and, read some excerpts and maybe do some Q&A, whatever we can pull off, live. We're definitely going to be doing some taping of other stuff and put together a quality edited product that people can enjoy. And I think that'll be of real interest to people.
So is it going to be an actual tour throughout the US, or
No, it's just a tour of
okay.
her body.
All
Yeah.
right.
So, and what I'm kind of thinking is, I love the idea so much, because it's storytelling versus interviewing,
Right.
just a different way to hear about somebody. So I thought, well, let's try this out and see how it goes. And it's something I think I'm going to tie in with another series, that I kind of had put on the back burner. And I think I may want to make a series out of these Scar Tours, and combine it with a concept I had called the Buck Naked Truth. So I was in a match with Lizzie Borden back in the day called the Buck Naked Match.
Yes.
Um, which is exactly what it sounds like. So the bra and panties matches were kind of big for a while there. The girls
Mm-hmm.
were, in WWE, they were doing these bra and panties matches, which was very spicy. Well, we were extreme, so we had to kick it up a notch and make it even more spicy. So it wasn't a match that ended in bra and panties. It was a match where one of us actually ended up buck naked, and that one of us was me. And yes, I was standing in an auditorium, like, it was crazy. We did a thing, the lights went out and whatnot. But so I sort of tongue in cheek sort of stole that title, Buck Naked. And I thought, oh, I'd love to do a naked interview series where I just sit and interview wrestlers in the nude, myself, and as nude as the wrestler was comfortable with. So
Okay.
I've come up with some fun concepts, for how maybe somebody could be naked but not completely, so we might have
Right.
some tricks to cover some bits with some funny, props or something like that. But I thought, well, why not do this, have them talk about themselves, and then maybe I'll jump in and we'll do a little shot, with the two of us, and a short interview, 3 questions or something like that, just for
Okay.
some fun content and something different, just something funny and amusing and different, and maybe a little sexy. So
It's completely original. I've never heard of anything like it,
yeah,
which I like to be original.
yeah,
I try with this show to be original as possible, and it's kind of pushing the envelope. I like it, and I
yeah.
think a lot of people watching this would be very interested in all of your projects and endeavors that you're going to have coming up. So, where can people see all these things that you're talking about, or where are they going to be available?
So yeah, it's kind of, I've had concepts that have taken me a while to kind of get off the ground, just because, like, the whole shoot job, having to go to work 40 hours a week as a nurse, and then working with X brand. We've been pretty prolific. Even when we have been in the basement, we've been, steadily working on things for,
Mm-hmm.
as long as I've been with the company. Um, I do have a YouTube channel, and I've got a website that, I don't do a whole lot with either one of those
Mm-hmm.
at this time, but um, once once I kind of pick up, where I think I'll be shooting a lot of content is in Vegas during Mania week in 2026.
Great idea.
I'm gonna have a big Airbnb with a pool and a hot tub, and I'm going to lure, as many wrestlers there as I can for, an hour of, just working through some of these, storytellings and naked interviews. Um, and then once I've kind of compiled, the content. So I think little by little you'll see it coming out on my YouTube channel, and of course, like, on the social media platforms, and I'm pretty much She's Hardcore everywhere. I've got a Facebook She's Hardcore page, Instagram. I believe, I don't know if my ex Twitter account is She's Hardcore, if it's Veronica Caine. Um, but yeah, got the sheshardcore.com and all that. So it'll be probably also in conjunction with X Brand. Justin and I work pretty close together
Okay.
with, we bounce ideas off of each other all the time, and, that, and some of the other people that are kind of in the inner circle there at X Brand. So
Well,
we'll,
keep me updated, and I will
definitely
definitely
going to
let
keep you in the
everybody
loop.
know. Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I'll let everybody know as this stuff comes out. Because, like I said, what you're doing is amazing,
Thank
and
you. Thank
yeah,
you.
and everybody watching this, um, pay attention to Veronica Caine, what she's doing to X Brand Wrestling, and to She's Hardcore, to Angel Metro, who she'll be coming on the show next year, and we'll be
Great.
talking with her too. So
Great.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I'm interested in pushing the same kind of work and in deathmatch wrestling and indie wrestling. I
Yeah,
think it's
no, I'm so
important.
glad that you reached out to me, because, I mean, there's not there. There's several. Obviously, there's a lot of podcasters out there, but, like,
Yeah,
there's only a handful that really are dedicated to more of the hardcore type of wrestling. I don't
yeah,
know if, sorry,
that's okay.
I was gonna say, I don't know if you can see behind me, who's behind me here. Um, I've got a big Ludark banner
Oh,
there.
okay. Yeah,
Big autographed Ludark banner.
nice.
Yeah.
So that's a banner.
Yeah, it was
I thought it.
actually one of the she was the XPW champion, women's champion. Um And so they had a banner that they would hang at the shows, and somehow that one ended up in my possession. It's autographed and everything, so it's really great. So
Nice.
I'm pretty excited to have that. Yeah, I have a few tattoos. I don't know if I showed you any of those. I think I
No,
did.
no,
Or
I don't think
no?
so.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, this whole sleeve, and I'm all like covered up right now. But if people go and check out my social media accounts and stuff, I have Ludark tattooed on my forearm. Let's see if I can show you that. I don't know if you can see her. Oh, her little
Yeah,
face is
I
covered.
see the bottom.
Yeah. So her face is
Wow,
there.
that's really good work.
Yeah, it's really great. I have a couple of, what the heck is happening? Oh no. Okay. I have a couple of other wrestlers on my arm as well. I have Lindsay Snow,
Nice.
the Florida Ma'am, out of Florida down there, that was done from a portrait of her, from a photo of her where her face is just completely covered in blood.
Yeah, Lindsay
So I have
does some great work.
I've got a big bloody Lindsay Snow, and then I've got Sage Sin Supreme with the pumpkin makeup. I've got her from Crimson Crown Wrestling, and she's one of the proteges of my friend Supreme. I've got her on the inside of my arm, and I've got some bloody knuckles on my arm from Ms. Mickey Knuckles too.
Yes.
So I've got a whole, deathmatch girls arm basically going on here. That's how serious I am.
Yes. Veronica, it's been amazing talking to you. I'd love to have you back on too
Oh, absolutely. Anytime.
when everything gets going. And
I'll
I'll
keep
make
you
sure,
updated.
yeah, you keep me updated. I'll keep everybody on here updated and everywhere I can because what Veronica is doing is very important and it's going to blow some minds. And I wish extreme success
Thank
on
you.
on
Thank you.
all of
You
it.
as well. Unscripted violence. That's how I like my violence.
Yes. That's how we like it too. So
Nice.
I'll just remind everybody uh, that the show's been produced by my lady Mims Haven. You can find me on Twitter at Wrestling Talk STG or Facebook. You can find Unscripted Violence Pro Wrestling Talk or myself, Stagger Lee. Um, and I want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, you as well.
Yes, and
Oh, you
I'm
know
going to
what?
release this.
I'm defrosting a turkey as we speak.
Very nice. Yes, we started defrosting ours yesterday, and yeah, make sure you get that thing defrosted. But I'll just let everybody know that we have a new, somewhat sponsor, W Energy. They're at www.w.gg. They're getting known for a no jitter energy powder. If you go to the site and use UV podcast, you will get 30% off of your purchases. I happen to like my favorite flavor is Push and Punch, and if people just want to give it a try, they have a little starter sampler pack for about $18.49. Put in UV podcast in there, and you'll get 30% off.
All right. W Energy.
Yeah, DUBBY.
All right. And put in the
So
UV podcast for the deal. All
yeah,
right.
yeah, definitely. Well, thanks again, Veronica.
Of course,
It's
anytime.
it's been an absolute pleasure,
Thanks for
and
having me.
yeah, I appreciate you coming on. And everybody, as usual, I will wish you all a happy Thanksgiving, but always, always, always keep wrestling in your heart. And good night, everybody.